Welcome to Author Conversations with me, as usual, Chris Dabbs. Today's guest is Donna Valentino, author of Headstrong, Surviving a Traumatic Brain Injury Without Losing My Mind, and Heartstrong, Overcome Obstacles and Live Life to the Fullest. Now, in 2009, Donna suffered a catastrophic ATV accident that left her fighting for her life with a severe traumatic brain injury. She endured emergency surgery to recover, a lengthy coma, intensive rehabilitation, and years of recovery afterwards. But you know what? Rather than allowing that experience to define her, Donna transformed it into a mission to help others facing trauma, uncertainty, and life-changing challenges. Now, through her books, she shares both the brutal realities of recovery, of which I'm sure we're going to hear about many, and the hope that can emerge on the other side, which hopefully we're going to hear more of. Donna, welcome to Author Conversations. It's lovely to meet you.
Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is the whole point, though, isn't it? It's not about so much the whole accident and all of that sort of stuff and the recovery, whilst that is interesting. But clearly, what it's all about really is about how it inspired you really to move forward with your life, isn't it? How are you feeling today? Are you all good?
I'm fantastic. I don't really have anything to complain about. And we all could complain if we wanted to. Nobody wants to hear it.
Especially my wife. She doesn't want to
Well,
hear it.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No one really wants to hear it. But I don't bother with complaining because it's pointless.
Exactly. So this sounds like the kind of thing that would inspire you, right? So what inspired you then to write both Headstrong and Heartstrong?
It was actually a good friend of mine who had written 3 books. And he told me that you have a story to tell and people would want to hear it because you are not the only person who has ever suffered an injury like this. And he introduced me to, I think it was Brown Books Publishing, and had a great interview with the lady there. And she said, yes, we're gonna write this book. My goal was to help other people, not just the person who's injured, but the family members, coworkers, friends, because they're all affected. And I'll just say this out loud. 10 people could have the same accident and you're going to get 10 different results. And God left me with my marbles. I've seen other people that really struggle to recover. And I'm recovering still. I will recover for the rest of my life. But the book was definitely a way. It was very cathartic for me to be able to write my story because I don't pull any punches. I'm just honest and blunt about it. And I think that people appreciate honesty and bluntness. First of all, I'm a New Yorker, if you couldn't tell. That's what we do. We pretty much just say it exactly how it is so that there's no, did she really say that? What did she mean by that? No, here it is.
No, I see what you mean. And no, I think you're right. It's not just the person who's recovering in whatever way, but it's the family also. I mean, I think there's, I don't know if you know, but the Formula One racing driver, the ex-world champion, Michael Schumacher.
Yes.
He had an accident, not an ATV. He was just skiing, right? And he had an accident. And well, basically his family have closed ranks on him clearly to keep his privacy. But, he must be going through all sorts of things, and the family must be going through as well. And it's not only high profile people, clearly your family would have gone through, just as much trauma as Michael Schumacher's. But, at the end of the day, where did you decide where one book ended, Heartstrong or Headstrong, and the other one began? Because Heartstrong came second, right?
It did. And it's interesting because I, like everyone else, we all have obstacles. They differ, but everyone has obstacles. And everyone has those family dynamics, and they differ from family to family. And I just felt that my upbringing and my marriage, there were obstacles along the way. So the word trauma is an interesting word because I had a traumatic childhood. And again, we can go back to that feeling sorry for yourself. Don't, because whatever my story is, someone else's is worse. So I just felt that what I went through, my mother was basically a religious zealot. She was a born-again Christian, and I was baptized Catholic. because I'm Italian. That's what Italians do. And then 18 months later, when my brother was born, he was not baptized. So my mother became friends with, at the time, Jews for Jesus. I'm not sure if they still are referred to that way. But she really went into this. She dove headfirst into it. So the message that I received from my mother, it was the way it was received. She told my brother and I in fear and with fear. So God to me was this big, mean, angry God. So if I did this or if I did this, I'm going straight to hell. So I was on the fast track. Okay. I'm just saying, aren't we all pretty much? But so I was raised to fear God, but not in a good way. It was fear in there's going to be like lightning bolts striking me down if I do something that God doesn't like. So when I left my home, I basically threw the baby out with the bathwater. I blamed my mother for the way she taught me, but basically I blamed God because of the way my mother taught me. So God was not in my life for many, many years. And because my now ex-husband is Jewish, if the mother is not Jewish, then the children are not Jewish. So I converted. And to be really honest with you, the message that my mother gave me did hit home, but it never felt good converting. It didn't feel good right here. Something was wrong with it. And I'm not throwing shade on anyone's religious preferences or their ethnic background, none of that. I'm just saying that for me, it felt wrong. It didn't feel wrong. It just didn't feel right. So I did raise my kids Jewish. They had their bat mitzvah, bar mitzvah, and even my daughter being the oldest, her bat mitzvah, I didn't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I've been to a few, and I'll just say something out loud. And again, I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but do you know what you spend for a bat mitzvah or bar mitzvah? A lot. So I had to come to terms with that, and I did the best that I could with it. And then by the second time around for my son's bar mitzvah, I did it. It worked out well. They're memories for everybody. But I did not find God again until well after my accident. He kept me alive. I'm just going to be honest with you. My recovery, I am still here because he wants me here. I should be dead, but I'm not. So it begs the question, God, what is my purpose? Why am I still here? Yes, I've written 2 books. The books aren't about me. None of this should actually be about me. It's really about him. Why am I still here? So God is answering the question, but God answers the question on his time, in his way. And I've accepted that that's going to have to suffice. I'm going to wait on God to find out, why am I still here?
And all you can do in the meantime is do your best work, kind of thing, I guess, isn't it?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So it was a good friend of mine was in an accident. Actually, I was in the accident. I forget what it was, congenital heart failure. It was bad. He was a fireman. And I went to visit him. And on my way back, it was raining. And somebody decided they were going to just, I need that exit. Whoop! They just missed me by about that much. Okay, well, on my way home, I'm thinking, am I supposed to scream and cry? Like I could have been in a really bad wreck. And all of a sudden, the paradigm just shifted. I realized that God saved my life again.
So this was after the accident, right?
This was after the accident. So all the recovery that went on after the accident, there is no fix. In my mind, I thought, well, this needs to be fixed, so let's fix it. Doesn't work like that. It's not like the Energizer Bunny. When it runs out of batteries, you put in a new one. Doesn't work like that. So it's the reality of accepting. Accepting's tough. Accepting is basically saying that I guess this is how it's going to be, and move on and deal with it. It took me 5 years to grieve the loss of tennis. I was a really good player, played on a team for years. It wasn't just the loss of the sport, it was the loss of the camaraderie with all the other players on my team. So it's sort of like a domino effect where you have an accident and the dominoes just keep falling. So I can no longer play. I tried though, trust me, I did. I gave it my best shot. Let me tell you what happens when you have double vision. I see the ball. I also see that ball. Which was the real ball? Right? So, and I had a two-handed backhand, and I had a wicked two-handed backhand. Couldn't do it because I don't have any function out of my left hand. I have no fine motor skills. Even after I had surgery on it, it just, again, accepting what I can no longer do. And that's tough because Donna was that one that can do anything. Just, I can fix this, do that, drive here, do boop, boop, I'm good. I went from doing everything and going 90-0 to nothing. So after my accident, I could not move my left arm at all. It took months before I could get any feeling whatsoever. So the trauma really wasn't just mine. It was my children. They got to experience this. No one should see their mother like that. I spent 49 days in the ICU with brain bleeding, pressure. They basically had to do a craniotomy where they opened up part of your skull to let the brain swelling go down. The double vision, that was something I had to deal with. I can't do anything about double vision. Double vision it's my friend. It's now my friend. I have to accept that double vision is my friend because there's no cure for that. But all the orbital bones around my left eye were broken because the ATV landed on my head. So that was twisted cheekbone, all the orbital bones broken. I have scarring across my forehead, and I have a nice scar right down my middle because I had, lacerated liver and bowel perforations. My son got to see that. So talk about trauma. This is, again, the domino effect. It wasn't just me. It hit my family members, hit my friends. Some people deal with it well and some people don't. Some people can take trauma and kind of bury it, and then it raises its ugly head years later. So it's a matter of just dealing with trauma. The frustration part is difficult for me because, okay, I'm really proud of myself. I hung a picture on the wall last night. That's not easy to do. You know why? When I hold that nail with the little hook and I do this, it's like, don't hit the fingers. So I got it on the wall.
I'm sorry for laughing, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like on the cartoon or something, Warner Brothers, you're going to hit your thumb, right?
That is correct. Yep. So I've had to get used to asking someone else for help. That's a tough one. That was tough for me. Sometimes it's still tough for me. In fact, I need to have a keyless entry lock put on my door. I personally cannot do this. And I'm struggling with asking a friend to do this. Donna, get a life. You know the funny thing about it? People want to help you. It's just up here in my head. No one thinks of me and goes, oh, poor thing. Oh, no, they want to help. Let them help. So a lot of it is just gets stuck up here because the frustration factor gets high. And I have to learn how to do things a different way. Just adapt. So accepting and adapting, two things that also are my friends, whether I want them to be or not, they are. So I just have to find different ways to do things and try to figure out a way to do it where I will not get frustrated and want to throw it in the street and run it over with my car. That's my New Yorker coming out in me. Arr, I should run that thing over. Oh, boy, that doesn't solve anything, does it? No.
I mean, this is incredible resilience. At the end of the day, it's easy to say, well, I don't know what I would do or what would most people do or whatever. You either, as you said, really sort of cope or you don't cope, right? And hopefully, I guess what you're hoping that your readers will take away is some sort of way to cope with this, because they've seen you go through you losing, well, basically, tennis is a passion, but probably more than that, right? It is
Yeah.
probably a bit of a love of your life. So, with the team, and yeah, people don't understand once you're not in a team, or perhaps when you're not working somewhere, it's a kind of similar thing. You miss the people, the camaraderie, like you say,
Correct.
the competitiveness, the whole thing. And then you go to some, where you think you can do it, but you just can't. And then you've got to hold yourself back, right? That's what you're saying. In double
Correct.
vision, fine motor skills. No, I think we get it. I mean, it's easy to get, but I mean, crikey, as we would say in the UK and Australia.
I like that word. I'm going to have to adopt that. And then the people are going to go, what did you just say?
Yeah, exactly. Crikey. Anyway, so I think that it's, I think you've done really well. Oh gosh, not that it's down to me to judge you or anything. I'm not saying that, but I mean, what do you think that readers could take away from your story in order to be able to be, well, you've got some good tales to tell and some good, advice to give. So what would you prefer that they found themselves out of your story and can take away?
My opinion on this, find God. He's there. He's there. Okay. So I went back to church a year ago, a year ago. I started to feel a pull right around Easter week. So my experiences as a child going to church, I felt it was hypocritical. I didn't gain anything from it, and I felt that people were hypocrites. Me wanting to go back, it was a non-denominational church. And as soon as I walked in the door, it wasn't anything like I remembered as a child. It's completely different. I remember standing up and singing the hymns and the tithing basket going around, and everyone had to put in their life savings in the basket. Okay. Now you go and there's a band playing up there, and they're playing this beautiful Christian music. I was blown out of the water, and I felt God's presence. And I can remember them saying at the end, if you want to take communion, and as soon as I heard the word communion, something, it was a trigger. And I thought to myself, calm down. Nobody died. You're remembering something, a trigger from your past, and you need to open the door to the future. And I went and I did it. And guess what? I'm still here. Nothing happened. Big deal. So I think it's a matter of opening your mind and your heart. And by finding God and praying to God, and people use the word prayer, people can get all like, itchy over that. It's like, no, I just talk to God like I'm talking to you right now. I talk to him all the time. I talk to him. In fact, he's my best friend because I talk to him all the time. God sees all, knows all. He knows my heart. Can't hide anything from God. He knows it all anyway. But by being open and keeping my heart and mind open to God, he's going to show me the way. And I think that people have different opinions about God. But prayer is not one of those words that you think of and you go, oh, I can't do that. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody will get up and pray and they're like a master at it? It's like, boy, my prayers don't sound anything like that. Who cares? God doesn't care. He does not care. So if somebody's a great prayer warrior, here's what I say to you. Good for you. We all have our own gifts, and God will help you on your journey. And it's a journey. This isn't a quick fix. You're like, you don't wake up the next day and go, I feel better. Life is the same. No, it's not. It never will be again. It's adapting to the new you. And I think that people, if they stop fighting what they can't change, your doors will open, because we're all fighting what we can't change. It's out of my control. I have no control over it. Zero. I'm going to get stressed out and upset about something I can't change. What a waste of time. It's actually a bunch of negative energy. But if I keep my mind and heart open to God, that's positive energy. I'm sure you've heard this before. What you put out is what you're going to get. You will reap what you sow. So if I plant good, positive seeds here, because what we say to ourselves here is what comes out. If we talk negative to ourselves up here, oh, you, excuse my French, you suck. You're terrible. You're worthless. You're less than a human being. That's going to come out. That negative energy will come out. And that's not helpful to you, and it's not helpful to anybody else. I want God's glory to shine through me. I want to live like Jesus lived. Is it tough? It can be if you want it to be, because it means giving up something else, sacrificing something else that you love for something better. So I just think if people want to take anything out of either one of my books, you are not less than, you are not worthless. You still have a life. God still left you here. Ask him, why am I still here? There's a reason why he didn't take my life. So that's probably the biggest thing I want to tell anyone is that, yes, you can read my books. You can hear them on an audiobook, which I actually recorded myself. I was like, if you don't like my accent, too bad.
Who doesn't like your accent, Donna? Surely.
Honestly, I get comments on it all the time, and I live in Texas. So
Okay, well, yeah, that's a bit different, isn't it? I guess.
You think with the y'all, and I'm fixing to do something, I'm like, y'all's not even a word. And I'm not throwing shade on anybody. It's like crikey, right? Well, in your country, you say crikey, and that it means something. So, and someone says, well, I'm fixing to do something. I'm like, you going to fix something? I'm just saying that the vernacular is different from New York to Texas. So it's just a matter of adapting. Again, I'm going to use the word adapting. You have to adapt.
Well, there you go. See, so you've adapted a lot, right? Including just like
that is correct.
Yeah, adapting not only because of the accident and recovery, but also because you've moved somewhere else, which adds extra pressure, doesn't it? I mean, not many people would kind of notice that, if you see what I mean, and make a big difference.
Very true.
And I think it's interesting that you've done that because, you're right. If I went in our country, in the UK, there seems to be another accent every 30 or 40 miles. Okay, as far, you guys have to travel quite some way, right? Because you've got more space. But if I go, I don't know, maybe 100 miles from London, the accent is like wildly different.
So true.
And I feel like a foreign person.
Right.
Actually, and where I live, strangely enough, if I look out from my window, I can see the English Channel. So 23 miles away is France and Europe. So it's all weird. But anyway, talk about England. If I was going up towards Birmingham, this is what I was talking about, it would be I would feel out of place and kind of foreign. So having to adapt to that whilst I'm adapting to everything else as well, which is, you're a strong person, I think, Donna. And I think part of this is that you've actually used this as a cathartic thing, right? To write your books and to sort of go through it. But, it's not that easy to do that. Okay. So it must have been difficult for you to revisit some of these experiences, while you were writing this book. And did you find that, your beliefs helped you with this then, to be able to overcome those because you were, you knew that you were sharing a story that was important?
Absolutely. I knew that I'm not the only person going through this. Someone else's injury could be entirely different. But I know deep down I have empathy for that person because I'm still here. I'm still in that position. I might be better than I was. That accident was 16 years ago. I've gotten past the point of even caring to remember when the date comes up. I don't care. But people in general don't like change. So when you have a traumatic injury happen to you, all the things that you loved, something's going to change. I am not, the old Donna is gone. This is the new Donna. And I have worked with people it's called BIND, which is Brain Injury Network of Dallas. It's in Plano, Texas. And there was just something about that group of people where they took in a certain number of people who survived a traumatic brain injury. Could be anything, could be a stroke, aneurysm, TBI like I have. And I read my book to 2 people who had aphasia. So I'm going to use Bruce Willis's name on this because everyone pretty much knows who he is. He's suffering from the same thing. So all of a sudden, with his what's called frontal lobe,
Cortex. Is it?
yeah, he has his, he can no longer read. It's sad. So you take something you've done your whole life and maybe even enjoyed, and all of a sudden you can't do it. So I read my book to 2 people who had dysphagia. And then they asked me if I would like to do a writing workshop. I was honored to be able to do this. So I did a writing workshop, and I set up a sheet of paper with their name, the date of their accident, and I made the font like super big. I wanted to know what disability have you been left with? And basically I started, who were you before? What happened after your injury? That's a whole gray area of a lot of anger, sadness, heartbreak. One man had a wife who just couldn't deal with him anymore. So I'm just saying that there are after effects when you have an injury that might not feel so good to you. And then after the middle part, there was the who are you now? So I really kind of wanted to go through that whole gamut because it's important. There's the beginning, the middle, the end. Where are you now? And I loved doing this. And there were some people in there who literally fell asleep. That's okay. And I didn't care. You know why I didn't care? That's their injury. I'm not going to, throw shade on your injury. You needed to fall asleep. You do you. When COVID hit, March of 2020, that one man that used to fall asleep, he called me and asked me if I would edit his book. He wanted to write a book. What a journey this was for me. It was a year journey of learning to do things I had no idea how to do. But I loved doing it. You know why? It opens up it makes you realize that this isn't dead up here. This is just, you need to adapt. Again, I'm going to use the word adapt to learning different things and helping somebody else. So I was able to help this man get his, what do you call that? Get a cover for his book. It was printed on Amazon Kindle. So I was able to do this with him, and it was an adventure because it's his story, okay? He wanted to be a mercenary. Okay, awesome. In my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder what happened in your childhood that brought you. I mean, I don't think anyone is born and says, I want to be a mercenary. Something happens along the way that you go down that path. So I wrote a chapter in the little bit that I knew about his childhood, and he got back to me. He said, oh, no, none of that's right. Good, give me what's right. And he would tell me and I'd rewrite it. So there were 1 or 2, maybe 3 areas where I rewrote things with information that he gave me. Because I'm a reader. I love to read. I'm in that old school where you actually take a book and pick it up and read it. That doesn't happen anymore. People are on Kindle. They're doing audio. You do you. He wrote that book. And I moved to Florida at the time, and then he continued to write 3 more thereafter. So that was me helping somebody else to succeed on his dream of writing a book. So I think that if you choose to look at things in a negative way, then that's where you're going to stay. But if you want to look at it in a positive way, there are ways to help other people achieve their dream. Just because you had an accident doesn't mean that you are worthless. You have to find something else that's going to give you that encouragement to do something that you probably never would have done if you didn't have that injury. Do you think I would have written a book if I didn't have an injury?
Exactly.
Probably not.
No, because you'd been playing tennis, wouldn't you?
I was too busy. I was too busy with my two-handed backhand having a good time.
No, exactly, Donna. Oh, but can you believe this? We're running out of time, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad. I was having a good time.
I know, same here, right? And I'm sure that our listeners and viewers are also having a good time and listening, about your utter positivity when it comes to this. I mean, you're writing about wanting to be the person you never had when you were sitting in that wheelchair. And, at the end of the day, you're actually doing it as well, helping people with aphasia or dysphagia, as you saying, if I got it wrong. But, it's quite amazing that, and I think it's also important to remember what you said about the brain injuries aren't just like from accidents. It's also stroke recovery. It's all
correct.
of that, aneurysms, all that sort of thing. So, I've just very, very quickly on this one, that because otherwise I know we're going to get really upset when we have to call it closed. So, I mean, looking back now, do you think that, the Donna that existed before the accident would recognize the person that you've become now?
Nope. She would not. She wouldn't even, I'd be a foreigner. Like, who is that lady?
Really?
No. Oh, yeah. No, the change, there have been so many changes, and the changes keep coming. I'm going to be a grandma in a few weeks. First time grandma. I'm so excited. So I'm just saying, no, that Donna wouldn't recognize this Donna.
Well, guess what? At the end of the day, we're really glad you're here, Donna, obviously, passing on, your wisdom and helping other people as well. So quickly, give us your website address, please, so that people can get in touch or find you on social media and all that sort of thing.
I can do that. So
great.
DonnaValentinoBooks.com will bring you to my website. It's actually really well done, and they'll enjoy it. There's my biography in there. The books are in there. There's a photo gallery. I think that people want to know who I am, they can check that out and they'll figure it out. I am on Instagram, Perspective by Donna. And I know I'm on Facebook as well. But I think whatever it's set up in such a way that whatever's posted on Instagram is on Facebook too. And I am not a computer person. I'm being dead honest here. Someone else does that for me. It's right over my head.
Yeah, sure. Well, no, that's great. That's great. Well, listen, Donna Valentino, it's been lovely having you on today and talking about Headstrong, surviving a traumatic brain injury without losing my mind, and also talking about Heartstrong, overcome obstacles and live life to the fullest. Honestly, yours is a really extraordinary story of survival, determination, resilience, adapting, finding purpose, after unimaginable adversity with that. You've done so well. My heart goes out to you. You've enjoyed this conversation. If you've enjoyed this conversation, basically, listeners and viewers, I'm just assuming you have. Please like, subscribe, and share the episode with someone who might find inspiration and perhaps some help in Donna's journey. And until next time, thanks for listening to Author Conversations. I've been Chris Dabbs. Donna Valentino, it's been wonderful to meet you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this conversation, you can watch more Author Conversations here.